Today I wanted to follow on from a recent video where we spoke about the 3 things you should be focusing on when recruiting technology salespeople. So we're talking about people that are selling an enterprise solution to corporates or government that are required to achieve a budget. Now, the third of the 3 areas that we spoke about was evidence. Focusing on gaining evidence that the person that you're hiring is actually achieving their quota or has been achieving their quota over the last number of months and years. So why is this so important? Well, depending on the stats that you read, somewhere between 55 and 65% of salespeople in the technology space in Australia right now are underachieving on their quota. Now, you might be recruiting because you've just let one of those sorts of people go. So to bring somebody else in that you're not sure is actually achieving quota doesn't achieve a whole lot. And with that, somewhere in the vicinity of around 18 months is how long the average salesperson is lasting in a technology firm right now. So just as you'd expect them to be getting that return on investment of all the time that you've spent with them and the salary and all the rest of it, they're out the door. So with this in mind, it's a bit of a minefield and it's a risky game. And what I want to talk about is how to better manage that risk. Now, you can be confident that if you've posted an advert online and you've got candidates approaching you, that the very large majority of those candidates fall into that 55 to 65% that are not reaching their quota. They're finding it difficult in their current role, so they're putting their feelers out there, which is understandable. But you're looking for that other 35 to 45%, and in an ideal world, that top 20%, which is what we focus on here at Harlow Group. So how do you get to that top 20% is the question. Well, the simple answer is to ask for evidence that they're in that top 20%. So what does that look like? Well, I'll tell you how we do it. When we're recruiting for a client, we're submitting a candidate report to the client about that individual. We're submitting their CV and we're submitting a document that is evidence of the sales performance wherever we can. So what might that look like? Well, we've got photos all over our database of trophies, of sales achievements that people have won, pictures of certificates, even sales reports with confidential information blanked out, but with showing the evidence that this particular individual is above their quota or was last year or what have you. So you should be looking for that when you're talking to candidates in order to make sure that the pool that you're interviewing actually represent that top 20%. So a lot of people will say, well, look, I've got a reference you can speak to at the end of the process that can speak to my performance. It's a co-worker. Well, you need to be speaking with a line manager, not a co-worker, in order to get verification of the sales performance, of course. So go for the line managers wherever you can. I wouldn't be hiring a salesperson that couldn't put you in contact with someone that they've reported to that can speak to the sales performance. But that's often only offered at the end of the process. So how do you ensure that the entire pool of candidates you're meeting with actually are quota achievers? Well, the answer is to get evidence up front as part of the collateral they submit as part of their application. So that's pretty simple, yeah? You want winners on your team, so get evidence that they're winning. And if you've got a vision of building a team that in 18 months to 2 years' time are smashing it out of the park, well, you need to make sure you have the right people on the park in the first place. We can spend a lot of money on training, a lot of money on induction, onboarding, sales enablement programs, inbound marketing campaigns, etc. But if you've got the wrong salespeople, it all goes to waste. And unfortunately, the stats and the evidence out there in the market says that around 55 to 65% of that time invested is wasted at the moment on the wrong people. So get the evidence, hire a team of winners, and then work on the other stuff. And don't be afraid of asking for evidence. Our candidates enjoy being given an edge on the candidates that are not the real deal. Those that have the evidence are happy to have been asked that question, and we articulate to our candidates that it's a benefit for them to submit evidence that they're achieving targets with their CV, because that separates them from the crowd and gives them, I guess, a competitive advantage. So it's great for the candidate, it's great for the client, and it enables the two of you to have a good match that's going to last beyond the 18 months. So that's all from me today. Better manage your risk when you're recruiting sales talent by asking for evidence. Here's to your sales success. Have a great day.